Rohana Subasinghe. I am a senior aquaculture officer with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization based in Rome. The risk management is a universal thing, that it's not only to aquaculture, it is almost applicable to everything. It's a part of day-to-day life. If you take aquaculture, the most important thing is that at the end of the day you have a product that we produced in economically viable manner and environmentally sustainable manner. So there are many risks in that process, and basically risk management is to identify the risks, analyze them, communicate them, find the ways to manage them and mitigate them. So in that process it is very important that we look into all aspects of aquaculture, not only to physical, it could be sort of a social, economic, many areas of risk. So as in any other production system, one of the threats is the disease. Another risk, of course, you always get is what will happen with that process to the biodiversity, environment, and sort of environmental risks. The third risk, of course, is that we always get natural disasters and calamities, and there should be resilience, and what sort of risks that this bring to people who are engaged in aquaculture. Floods, droughts, cyclones, you name it. Then, of course, the other risk is that at the end of the day, if you do not have a product, you lose. What do you lose? You lose money. So that economic risk is extremely important in this system. Altogether, if you fail, that will affect you, your family, therefore there is a social risk. So out of this, if you ask me which one is the most, in my opinion, they all are equally important. And that, as a disease specialist myself, I would say that diseases are important because it can kill. So when that happens, that will affect you will be social risk, economic risk, everything can stem from there. A pathogen comes into a pond, and that pathogen gets out into a wild environment, something happens, there is biodiversity risk. If the animals die, there is a economic risk, social risk, and everything very much interlinked and intertwined. If the risk, we understand it can come from either through natural causes or through human activities or through some sort of ignorance, misunderstanding, not having enough understanding, education, knowledge, sort of. So what's important is to try to understand what is the best to happen on ground. So what we call better management practices in that. So when we look at a better management practice, we have to look into all possible risk areas and look at what are the risks and how to mitigate those risks and bring those understanding and knowledge into formulate a management practice which is better than what you have now in reducing the risks of various risks involved. Particularly problematic for your question is that most farmers are small scale. If you have a vertically integrated large commercial to industrial production system, we can have all sorts of different levels of mitigatory measures, rules and procedures, sort of everything, and of course, and then when it comes to small farmers, the difficulty comes that they individually are not strong enough to face the realities and to come up with proper risk management measures. So what we do is we try to put them together into what we call clusters of farmers who are probably using the same resources, probably producing the same product, probably going through the same system, probably experiencing the same difficulties and problems with the same answers and are available for them. So we sit down with them, talk to them, look at the problems, come up with answers, come up with a better management practice, and then they go and implement it. So you empower them so that they can now, as a group, can respond to the risks and come up with the measures that they can reduce the risks.